here in front of us, we have the brand new 2024 Mercedes-Benz AMG EQE 53 4MATIC Plus. It's quite a mouthful. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about all of its cool things, as well as some of the things that we think it could do better, and ultimately whether this 120,000 euro EV is good enough to beat cars from the likes of Tesla, such as the Model S and the Model X. Let's get right into it. So this is usually the part where we pop the engine and we show you what's underneath, but obviously we can't because this is an EV. However, I will give you the stats. This thing has 617 horsepower, a bit more if you get the SUV version, but this car will take you from 0 to 100 in Sport Plus mode in 3.2 seconds, which is ridiculously fast, all the way to a top speed of 240 kilometers an hour, which isn't that fast compared to most German petrol cars, which will take you to around 260, but even so, it's not that bad. And like a Tesla's, these door handles actually go in, but when you brush them, they pop right out, which I think is sick. And while we're at it, let's take a look at these door handles. They say Mercedes-Benz embossed there, and when you close the door, they actually have these really cool LED outlines. And this car doesn't just look like a spaceship, it also sounds like one. Here I have the key, and when I press the lock button, listen to this. And unlock. I think that's just really, really cool. And it makes a ton of other sounds while you're driving as well, which of course you can turn off in a sub menu hidden somewhere in the cockpit. So to you, the viewer, watching this, the car might look a bit ugly, and that's what I thought as well. But honestly, having seen it and been looking at it for quite a while now, it's really grown on me in terms of the design, and that's that really cool startup noise again. I mean, the AMG grille there that you normally see on a proper AMG, in inverted commas, it looks a bit tacky at first, but honestly, it isn't that bad. It does sort of help it distinguish, and we've got a ton of AMG badges everywhere, but it's not that bad. And the lights are pretty cool in the front. We've got some plastic at the front, but again, every car is plastic. Some pretty cool chrome trim as well at the bottom. And if we move along to the side, one sort of strange thing you'll see here is that the front window slope is a bit like that, instead of ending at the front passenger door, and so that gives them space to put a nice little EQE chrome badge there. There's a lot of chrome on this car, which does really make it feel very sort of exclusive, which is quite nice. Alright, and now let's go to the back. So obviously we've got these really nice lights. It's got this sort of pattern design. I'm not sure if you can see, but it has little matrices inside of the actual curves, which I think is a very stylish design. And then we've got not an entire band, but it sort of has its own separate light in the middle, which I again think is great. And then obviously we've got AMG EQE 53 and the EQE sort of font there. And then again, this really stylish chrome trim that you see on much of the car. And another cool feature, when you open the trunk, it's actually just by pressing this, which is quite nice. And it's, of course, it's fully electric trunk here as well. You have the button there. But actually, this also hides the rear reversing camera, which I think is a pretty cool feature. And apologies, we've got the skis in there from earlier today. So honestly, all in all, it's not too bad of a car in terms of design. I mean, it might take a while to grow into it, but Mercedes haven't completely failed here, as I thought when it first came out. And as for the back, since we were talking about AMG design, they do have this sort of AMG ducktail that they've put on, and I think this is one of the very few bits of the car that looks incredibly tacky. If I haven't mentioned it already, it weighs 2.5 tons because of those heavy batteries. This thing is not taking off anywhere, so this need of this ducktail is completely irrelevant, and I think it was just sort of slapped on so that people can tell that it's an AMG, which, I mean, aside from the outside lights, so you've obviously got the lit up thingies there, you actually do get welcome lights. I think this is an option, I'm not sure, but it reflects from the mirror there, and I think it looks quite nice. We get it on both sides of the car, and it reminds you that you're driving a Mercedes-Benz. So this is an EV, so obviously we have to talk about charging. So this is the normal home adapter. This car comes with a very standard plug that you'll find on pretty much every electric car these days, and obviously it'll come with the fast charger and the slow charger for home. One thing I have to mention, I'm not sure if it's our own power supply, it's that this is a extremely slow. And I'm talking, it said it would take 2 days to get to a full charge from 30%. And that kind of charging speed is simply ridiculous. In this thing. In fact, if you look there, you might actually even see it's on 100% right now. I only plugged it in. And it's saying 299 kilometers. That's what we're going to be getting. And that's in an EV of this kind of, in this day and age, that's just not acceptable. Teslas, you can get 300 to 400 miles on a single charge, which is 500, 600 kilometers. So AMG or Mercedes really do need to step up their game in terms of batteries. For example, look at this. We're currently on 96%. We're getting 298 kilometers. However, it says it's going to be full at 7:44. In other words, in 3 hours. It's taking 3 hours to charge 4% on your average German home charger. And that is unacceptable. This car comes with Apple CarPlay as standard, as many cars do, but we're not going to show you Apple CarPlay. What we're going to show you are the incredible speakers on this thing, and by incredible I mean they're really, really good. So it comes with Mercedes option Bemester, and we've got speakers all around the car. We've got them here, we've got them in the back, everywhere, complete surround sound. And I'm not actually going to play any music for you. A, don't want to get copyright striked, and B, it doesn't really come across very well on the microphone. But what I am going to do is show you the extreme levels that these speakers can do by actually leaving the car. So what my friend is going to do is he's going to play this crazy bass boosted song. It's there, and it's a great song, but the fact is that the bass of this car is literally enough to shake it. So hit that play button and I'm going to leave. I can barely hear. Oh, that is awful. What you can see there is the car shaking. That is the car shaking because of the bass from the speakers. Oh my goodness. I don't think they can even copyright claim the song at this point. That is how ridiculously good it is. And it also tells you something, maybe a little bit about Mercedes's build quality and the plastic. But honestly, listen to that. Crazy, crazy speakers. Best speakers I've ever had in a car. Maybe even ever had. That's incredible.
And these ambient lights are really everywhere, as you can see here, in the vents, behind the seat, behind the door control, and even up here at the top control bar. That's
so
crazy.
We have the standard M-Box controls that you'll see on pretty much every Mercedes. We have this great interactive touch screen, and it actually even has a taptic engine built in. If you guys don't know what that is, it gives you feedback as you tap upon it, which is a pretty cool feature, but not something you'll really use. One thing I was quite annoyed about is the lack of buttons down here, and they're all sorts of useless. We have this AMG button. It's not going to work right now, but it shows you, like, if you're on Sport Plus mode for different things, and this shows you charging, this shows you the car, that's obviously your hazard lights, and this is a fingerprint scan, which, I mean, you guess you can use it to unlock the car, but that's not very useful. There's no home button, no navigation button, no radio button, nothing. It's all hidden in this intricate web of things on here. Example, let me show you this. If I want to change the bass in the car, you go to Einstellungen, System, scroll all the way down to Audio, Entertainment, and then you go to your profile, and then you have to change it and separate. It's all so complicated, and it's just slightly annoying if you just want to change this one simple thing. What I wanted to really quickly show you are these really cool, well, obviously the really cool LEDs, but the things you can do with it. So we have these really nice integrated air vents here, which are actually just beginning to turn on. Look what happens when I turn the temperature up a little bit. Look how cool that is, and then it goes into the that bit, and it turns red. And now if I turn it down, it gets blue. I think that's just a really cool feature. I mean, I don't like how the lights sort of go from white immediately, but again, look down here. If you just spam up and down, you just sort of have red pulses all the way going all the way down, and that's just a really, really cool feature that Mercedes have put that in for us.
And a small feature we just discovered is that when you tap on the lights, they just turn on. How crazy is that? And now the sunroof control is a bit annoying, but also quite cool. So, because if you press it, it just flips up, but if you slide it, it opens completely. It's quite cool, but you also have to get used to it. Now to the steering wheel. In my opinion, that's the best looking one I've seen so far, and it has tons of options. As you can see here, there's a press button, there's those two as well, and also all of these options that you normally have like on around here on the steering wheel. So yeah, pretty cool. And AMGs have these beautiful scroll displays where you can select your driving mode, and also here you have the same thing here, just without the scrolling feature. But yeah.
And now that we've talked about all the good parts of the car, let's talk about something that every single Mercedes these days has, which is super annoying: plastic. We have this wood and this Alcantara, except this isn't wood. That's all fake, but all fake. Up here, well, that's actually real leather, surprisingly. But look at this metal on the side. That's not metal, it's plastic. That is plastic, 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 literally everywhere apart from the seats. And in terms of key design, this key is very nice. I quite like it. Has AMG there, obviously, unlock, lock, open, but boot, all very nice. And let's talk about storage quickly. We do get some cup holders here, which have quite an interesting design, actually. But lots of storage here. I think that's a wireless charger down there for your phone. We have a massive storage booth down here with USB-C chargers. And then over here, we get your standard storage compartment there. So, quite nice all in all, in terms of the front. Let's move on to the back.
So here is a control panel in the back, as well as touch, like the control display on the rear. But yeah, you can control the heat.
I had my doubts about filming the interior in the dark, but I quite like it doing it now, because it actually showcases the interior ambient lighting super nicely. We've got the full ambient lighting that goes all the way around here and in the door handle and down here in a different colour. And actually there's 64 different colours to choose from, and you can actually get it to pulse as well, which I think is super, super cool. The seats bend all the way down to allow for more space, such as when you have skis. And the back is actually quite comfortable. Not a massive amount of legroom as you would get in like an EQS or an S-Class, but for medium to long journeys, you could do it. It's pretty doable. And then of course you get these red seat belts, as like in the rest of the car, to emphasize that AMG sort of look. So yeah, that's the back, and let's move on. So this is the 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 53 AMG, and in the dark it is looking like a rocket ship, and I know I've said that a lot, more than ever. So that's it for today's video, but we have to answer the main question: is it better than a Tesla Model S? And I think the answer is yes. Inside is incredibly comfortable, unlike the Tesla. The technology is just as good, if not better, and Tesla lovers are going to be like, oh yes, autopilot, whatever. Mercedes already has complete autopilot. It's just not legal to use in pretty much most of the world. And there's just all these nice little tasteful features like the ambient lighting, which the Tesla doesn't have. It does have a massive touchscreen, but then again, it does have buttons, which the Tesla doesn't have. It has performance similar to, or even better than, the Tesla Model 3, Model S, and yes, the Plaid is faster, but who really cares? It's a car. You're not going to be doing 0 to whatever, 100 every single day. And the acceleration in this thing is still phenomenal, more than your average person is going to need. And so yeah, this car is completely better than a Tesla Model S, and I think we both completely agree on that, right?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If yes, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, see you in the next one.
Peace.